He's getting older.
Oh, hit the full button!
But not wiser.
Stupid bitch!
This is the Lefty Show.
Welcome, everybody, to the Lefty Show. How are all of you? Happy Cinco de Mayo. The 5th of May Lefty Show coming back at you with episode number 5. Cinco de Mayo. Everybody go out there, be safe, have fun when you are celebrating whatever it is Cinco de Mayo is supposed to celebrate. I don't even know off the top of my head. Don't remember. But inevitably, like most things with a real origin, because I'm assuming Cinco de Mayo has a real origin. There is something significant that is meant to be celebrated by Cinco de Mayo, whatever it is. And just like what eventually became the Day of the Dead and what that spun into from something even before that time when it was known as the Day of the Dead, I learned that thanks to Cosmos, but it escapes me at this point. But most big days that are just huge, gigantic parties nationwide, both in America and I'm assuming elsewhere in the world, because we're all humans. So it would stand to reason that despite us being red-blooded fat Americans, that people from the British Isles, people from Europe and Russia and Asia, all over the place, those people, when there's a national holiday of some kind, it kind of moves away from its original intended celebration and just kind of turns into a gigantic big party that everybody uses as an excuse to get drunk or high or suck and fuck and do all the things that humans do. Everything we do when we want to release. It's no longer about... The 4th of July is no longer about our independence. Just like Christmas, for many people, myself included, isn't about God or Jesus anymore. It's just not. It's moved away from its original intentions. Now, we'll set aside for the moment the idea and probably the historical fact that celebrating the winter solstice is not a purely Christian ideal and was around way before Christmas. And there are things that revolve around the winter solstice that sound a whole lot like Christianity and everything that's going on there. We'll forget all that for the moment. We'll just focus on Christmas. It's moved away from that. And whatever it is, if you reside outside of the United States, whatever national holidays, regional holidays, whatever, they've probably moved away from what they were originally intended to celebrate. And now people just want to get drunk or get high or whatever it is. People just want a day off of work. And that's what Cinco de Mayo, at least in my experience, although I'm not an original celebrator of Cinco de Mayo. Kwanzaa, I'm huge on Kwanzaa. Don't you be touching my Kwanzaa. Oh, don't you be touching my Kwanzaa, but I am not an originator or an aborigine of Cinco de Mayo. However, I'm assuming that one of the driving forces behind Cinco de Mayo being a huge party nowadays is college kids, or are college kids. Because I know when I was in college, Cinco de Mayo, at least, and for many colleges in the United States, if they're on a semester program, right, the academic year is broken up into 2 sections or semesters. And the ending of the spring semester, it's right about now. There's a lot of kids taking finals in colleges colleges and universities across the United States right now, and they're wrapping up their studies, taking their huge finals, just blowing the collective load that is supposed to be their education for the past couple months, for the past 5 months. What it's supposed to be, they're just expelling it all right now. And some of them are done, or some of them probably have a couple days. We'll have a couple days to recover and study and wrap up their tests. And Cinco de Mayo is a perfect time to just go get drunk and just kind of celebrate an end of the year thing, because woohoo! I'm drunk, man! Oh my God!
King of the world, baby! King of the world!
There's not really an excuse to do that, because I'm drunk, man. What do you do? Well, why? Why are you getting all fucked up? Well, finals are over, man. All right, cool. go do something else. It's not really a valid excuse in society to just go on and get drunk. Oh man, I mean in college towns, yes, finals are over. Yeah, finals are over. But everybody else just kind of looks at you like, okay, motherfuckers, go on and do something else. But if you say it's Cinco de Mayo, that kind of makes it easier. Because Cinco de Mayo is to college kids, Cinco de Mayo is to college kids. I'm trying to remember my SATs. now this fucking wording went. Cinco de Mayo is to college kids what St. Patrick's Day is for middle-aged people in cities. That's what it is. It is people. Many people in cities who work regular jobs are not involved in the education system at all. Seize on St. Patrick's Day. I know it's huge in here in Chicago. Of course, there's a lot of Irish people here, but everybody's Irish on St. Patrick's Day, and everybody, it seems, goes out and gets shit-faced on St. Patrick's Day. Why? Everybody's Irish. It doesn't even fucking matter if you are Irish anymore. On St. Patrick's Day, it is acceptable to go out and get just absolutely destroyed on alcohol. And, well, man, St. Patrick's Day. Who the fuck even was St. Patrick's? I don't know, man. Fuck it. Woo, party. But when you're in college, St. Patrick's Day, you know, they don't give a fuck. It's like, oh, man. No, actually, I think St. Patrick's Day, it's like right around, there's like a spring break issue. I know for some colleges. But it's right in the thick of either spring break or your studies. So when you kind of wrap up and Cinco de Mayo comes about, you're like, oh man, what if I just tell everybody that I'm getting fucked up because it's Cinco de Mayo? But I don't care about Cinco de Mayo. I don't even know why it's celebrated or why people actually care about it. But I'm just going to get fucked up and eat tacos and other Mexican dishes because Mexican food is fucking amazing. You don't really need an excuse to eat it. Fuck it. It's good. Go find it and eat it. So have fun, but be safe when you're celebrating Cinco de Mayo out there, all of you. Why you're listening to the Lefty Show when you're shit-faced, I don't know. But I thank you for your patronage, and I thank everybody for their continued support of the Lefty Show. We're sporting a little bit new branding. This is preparatory to another move. I got to show a little love to my guy, Carbon FX. This guy hit me up on Twitter. Apparently just created his Twitter account just to tell me about these graphics that he did on spec. And I contacted him. We made some changes and paid him his money. Paid that man his money. I think I got that sound clip here somewhere. Here it is.
Paid that man his money.
Paid that man his money, Randy Moeller. And we got some new graphics for the Lefty Show. I've got this thumbnail here that I can edit to reflect what episode it is. You've got a nice little. I like what he's got going on here. When he originally sent it to me, it was a little bit different, but I don't something about it. It looks like kind of like fractal geometry, not really, but geometric shapes and just the color and the microphone in the O of show is just I was hats off because I can't do that. I can I can drum up shitty graphics when I just want to get really motivated and do something, but to actually create something like this, well beyond my, well above my pay grade, as they say. So we've got the Lefty Show graphics here, and I've got another square graphics in the same, or square graphic in the same theme as the thumbnail you see in front of you. And that is for iTunes. Now, a lot of people have been asking. We're 5 episodes deep already in the Lefty Show. Probably going to be another 3 episodes or 4 this week after this episode. And a lot of people want to know about hosting on iTunes because not everybody can venture to YouTube and find the Lefty Show when they're on the go, and they want to be able to take it with them. And sometimes they just don't want to download, they don't want to rip it from YouTube, which is totally understandable. And also the in-video ads sometimes break up the flow of the show, which I totally understand. I've talked about it many times. And I've been researching for a long time trying to find out how to monetize this show. How to, or to put it differently, how to monetize the mobile version of the show. How to get the show on an RSS feed aggregating site or podcasting aggregate site like iTunes, but still, because here's the deal, but still make a little money from it. Because here's the deal. Hosting is expensive. It is. Now, I could, my buddy Chiz, Dr. Chiz, linked me to a place. I could create my own, I could rent my own server and host all my own stuff and just point you guys to it and create an RSS feed. But that is, number one, again, like I said, well beyond my pay grade. Number two, it's not in the cards right now because that is a lot of work, and I want to see where the Lefty Show goes before I make that kind of commitment. Because once I start hosting my own stuff, once the Lefty Show is hosted on servers that I effectively own, that's a game changer. That's a we're jumping in with both feet. That's a commitment. Like when you see somebody advertising their channel on Painkiller already, they've made a commitment to their craft. They've made a commitment to what they're going to do, a monetary commitment, but still a commitment nonetheless. And getting all that ready to go is a commitment. Getting the show hosted, first of all, is a commitment, but getting my own hosting done so that I can have a library and create and get a website and point people to it and do my hosting, but then an RSS feed for iTunes, that's a commitment. That's going to be, I have to have the money, and I'm going to pay people, get it all done, because I'm not smart enough, despite what my ego tells me. I'm not smart enough to get it all done. I'm just not. I don't have the acumen. I don't have the understanding of how it all works or why it even works the way it does. And so I would have to pay people and trust them to get what I want done for me. So hosting via third-party site, a la Libsyn, Podbean, any of the other myriad of hosting sites. Hosting is expensive. And I'll tell you why, because I know a lot of people are going to say this, that, the other, SoundCloud, etc. But keep in mind, I want to create an RSS feed. I want to be able to point iTunes at something and have a very nice sound quality. I'm happy with Podbean, and that's not why you called so far. But here's the deal. The Lefty Show, this is episode number 5, and I started the Lefty Show last week. I did 4 episodes last week, probably going to do at least 4 episodes this week total. And given the bit rate and how I render and how long the shows are, we're looking at about 2 gigabytes of audio, thereabouts, if you want to talk about fudge factor. About 2 gigabytes of audio every single month for the Lefty Show. Now, that's got to get hosted, and it's got to get stored. Now, storing isn't really a big deal. Most podcasting websites, if you're interested in starting your own podcast, this will be interesting for you. Most podcasting websites don't pay you to store things. What they do is they pay you to upload, or you pay them, or they don't charge you. Sorry. They don't charge you to store things. They charge you to upload in a 30-day period. So if you get 1 gigabyte of storage monthly, you're probably getting unlimited storage after that month. Whatever you upload, let's say you upload that 1 gigabyte, you don't have to pay to keep that 1 gigabyte hosted in the next 30-day period. They just roll it over, and anything else you upload is what you're paying for. And so we're at about 2 gigabytes of audio files every single month. I did the math. It's probably what we're going to be at. The show isn't even a month old, but that's how it's looking. In order to host that, in order to get it all hosted, I'm looking at it, it's going to be like $150 a month. That's about what it's going to cost. And I just don't have that kind of money. I just don't have that kind of money to put into something that right now isn't even generating me money. And I know that might offend some people, but you got to understand that this is a business after all. This is a business. This is my business. And there is something to be said for investing and speculating on your own business and betting on yourself. However, $150 a month, at least, which, by the way, all has to be paid up front for a year, is just not in the cards right now. So I can host it for $60 a month the Lefty Show, that is. Because don't forget, I'm also paying for hosting of That's Not Why You Called. Hosting of the Lefty Show, $60 a month, I can do. However, it might be a little bit tough. Because, again, I got to pay that $60 a month for a year up front. So, and I've been thinking about, is there a way I could monetize it? Is there a way that I could put 10 or 15 episodes up a month and have that on iTunes? But then if you want access to the library of the Lefty Show, you've got to go here, and you can, I can create a Patreon, and then if you're a donator or a subscriber on Patreon, you get a link to all the stuff. But I did a lot of research, and there wasn't really anything out there that would allow me to do it. There's no setup that I could conceive that would allow me to both host something for iTunes, but then have the library available for people who subscribe. And that's just, it's, again, right now it's just way too complicated. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna save up a little bit and get the Lefty Show hosted and get it on iTunes. It's going to be free. You're not going to have to pay for it. However, what I am going to do is accept donations. If you go to I'm Raising, let me check this out. If you go to imraising.com/643productions, that's imraising.com/643productions, you can donate any amount you choose to help out the Lefty Show, to help out hosting costs. Now, keep in mind that this show is going to continue to grow, and hosting is not the only cost that there is. There's just general internet. I just, let me pick one here. There's
champagne rooms.
There's champagne rooms. Okay. There's the tablet that I got to facilitate soundboarding, so that the show, there's that extra production level. At some point, I'm honestly going to need a new board, a new audio board, because the one I have is, let's see, when did I get it? I think I got it in 2008. So that makes it 6 years old. It's USB 1.1. That's the interface. It's not even USB 2.0, certainly not 3.0. I don't even think you would need 3.0 for audio transferring. But this is USB 1.1, and it's old, and there's hisses somewhere, and it's just new equipment is a sound investment, as well as microphones and turning this place into an actual studio. There's no echoing, et cetera, et cetera. So here's what we're going to do. The show is going to be available on iTunes hopefully soon. And again, thank you to Carbon FX for the graphics, for facilitating that. You can thank him yourself. It's going to be available on iTunes, and you're not going to have to pay. However, if you're feeling spiffy, imraising.com/643productions. And if you want to, you can help out with the monthly hosting costs. And that's something you could do. I don't know if I'm going to link it specifically. I might. Maybe in the YouTube video. Not entirely sure. But it's just hosting and not being able to find a viable setup to allow the show to be hosted and then still have people subscribe for access to the library, a la Adam Carolla and a slew of other podcasts. Just it's too complicated for me right now, and it's just not worth it at this point. So I'll eat the costs myself to get the show hosted, but if you want to help subsidize it, you can go to imraising.com/643productions. And this is something that will be read regularly, like any old advertisement, as a way for you guys to help out the show if you are feeling nice. If you're feeling awesome, if you're feeling like you really want to help out, it's totally cool. Go to imraising.com/643productions. And then on down the road, sponsorships and things like that are other avenues that are yet to be explored, but even thinking about them right now or exploring them is probably not going to be the best idea. So imraising.com/643productions. If you want to help get the show on iTunes, that's where you can go. Now, I may sound a little bit different to some of you. And, oh my God, I fucking hate allergies. I hate allergies, in part because
I can't see you though, bitch.
I can't see them. It's nothing. There's nothing I can do. I'm not sick. I don't have a fever. I'm not achy necessarily. It's just my nose is kind of stuffy and runny, and probably as a result of that, my stamina isn't what it is. I can't work out like I want to. I just feel kind of fucked up. Like you're starting to fight off a head cold. And it sucks because I had to force myself to try to work out today. And even then, even while I was working out, I was dog. I was dog tired, man. It was awful. And I was and then just the coughing and the hacking, because there's a whole lot of shit going on in my sinuses and the ear, nose, and throat and all that crap that's there, that very complicated system. It's all producing shit that goes down in my tonsils, which are above average in terms of size. And I just cough, and it's fucking awful. And I want to know, why the fuck do we need this anymore? Why are spring allergies a thing? Where's evolution on spring allergies? We've had Allegra, Claritin, we've had cocaine, we've had all kinds of things. We've had alcohol as a treatment for allergies and for sicknesses for millennia. The Egyptians were brewing beer, for fuck's sake. But somehow, no. Pollens in many people, so much. I mean, you've got Allegra, you've got Claritin, you've got the knockoffs of that. You've got everything. And there's a whole cottage industry devoted to, when spring rolls around or when the seasons change, to help you not feel like shit, because your body just starts producing antibodies to shit that's not even real. Pollen gets into your nose and your immune system's like, oh shit, the fuck, get it. And then that produces histamines. And that's what makes you feel fucked up. Where's evolution on this? Why can't we just stop it? Why can't I have the ability to take something or even think about it and have that stop and say, no, immune system, trust me on this one. These guys are okay. This pollen, it's not going to fuck you up. It's what the plants use. You don't even know about it because you're not even like kind of a real thing. You're just a system of things, and I kind of control you with my consciousness, but not really. But no. This pollen that's coming in, all this crap, it's not bad. Okay, it's just you don't see it a lot, and I understand that, but it's not going to kill us. It's okay. You can go off and do other things. You don't have to worry about it, and you don't have to make me feel fucked up for a couple days because it's getting warmer and the plants are trying to pollinate each other and whatnot. You don't have to fuck me up because of it. Where's that? I want that for medicine. You know, they say the cost for Big Pharma to bring a new drug to the market is $5 billion. How about you spend some of that $5 billion on making sure this doesn't ever happen? Stop treating the issue and fix the issue. I know there's a lot more money in treatment. However, fixing the issue, I think, will still make you tons of fucking money. Because, hey, your body freaking out because of pollens? Take this. Never happen again. But no. It sucks, and I apologize if I do have to turn off the microphone here in the next few days from time to time to either blow my nose or hack up some mucus, and it's fucking awful. And it's gross. I dipped for a while, and it was a disgusting habit. You know, he had that little cup. And it was a nicotine delivery system that, while effective, was patently gross and disgusting. And I knew it was disgusting. However, the nicotine kind of overrode the disgusting part of that. But I stopped. In part because, well, first of all, the nicotine thing, and I don't want half my jaw cut off, because I do kind of have a nice jawline. It's not bad. You know, I'm not Brad Pitt, but it's a decent jawline. And I don't want that motherfucker chopped off by a buzzsaw or a bone saw, a literal bone saw, because cells in my fucking cheek just start going haywire, or cells in my bone, wherever they go, my lymph nodes. Who gives a fuck? I don't want that to happen. And also, it's disgusting. People say smoking's disgusting. No. Dipping and chewing, by far more disgusting than smoking. In any way, no. There's not, because you are just spitting. Have you ever weight or wrestlers in high school, and probably UFC fighters? A lot of people know Joe Lozon because of PKA, the PKA connection, as I like to call it. One of the techniques they use to cut weight is they just spit into a cup. That's all they do. They just sit there all day until they can't do it anymore. When they're trying to cut weight and lose water weight, that's one thing they do. But they do that preparatory to a fight, which is what, once every 6 months, 8 months, something like that. Imagine daily you're carrying around a cup or some kind of holder whose sole purpose in life is to hold your bodily fluids that you forcefully expel from yourself. And not only is it saliva, it's got tobacco juice in it, which is brown, and it starts to bubble, and it gets foamy, and it looks kind of like, it looks like kind of caramelized on top. It's fucking gross. And I forget where I was going with that. Long story. Let's see. Let's walk it back a bit. I was trying to talk about. I was talking about how gross dipping was, and I tried to use Joe Lozon as a way to do that. And the reason I was talking about why dipping was so gross is because, let's see, nicotine, disgusting habits. Well, son of a bitch. Ain't this just this happens from time to time. It's not a live show. The recording is live, but, well, it's a recording. It happens from time to time. You're trying to fill 45 minutes to an hour, you go off on a tangent, and something gets fucked up. Oh, I was talking about spitting. Having to spit out mucus. It's fucking gross. It is akin to that. And I stopped dipping in part because of that. But here I am, and I've got to do it. And I feel I'm like, no, I'm not trying to be gross. I really am not trying to be gross. It is my body, because it is being overzealous in fighting off pollens that aren't really a threat to me. And it's just killing me. And I feel sick, but you feel like you're fighting something off. It's like a perpetual getting sick state, which is almost worse than just getting sick, because you feel like you're getting sick, but then you get sick. Part of the bad part of getting of sickness is knowing what's coming and not being able to stop it. You're like, fuck, man. I can take all the vitamin C in the world. I can drink all the OJ I want, take all the multivitamins. This thing is happening. This is a thing. It's going to get me. And I want it to happen now. And you wake up and you hope that when you're laying in bed, you wake up in the middle of the night with a fever, and then you sleep it off, and the next day you're all right. But if it doesn't happen day after day, it's horrifying, because you're like, fuck, just happen already. Because fevers suck. Being achy sucks. Scratchy throat, all those things, all the aches and pains, and you're drifting in and out of consciousness. I have fucked up dreams when I've got a fever. Those things all suck, but they end. The idea of this punishment is forthcoming, but it's not here yet, and I don't know when it's going to get here, is sometimes almost worse than the punishment itself. And that is what sucks about having pollen allergies or springtime allergies. And I don't even have them that bad. There are probably people out there who actually get sick periodically because of their spring allergies or because of allergens. And it's just, oh my goodness, let's evolve past this already. Come on. Let's fucking do it. Again, stop treating the issue, big pharmaceuticals, big medicine. Stop trying to squeeze every fucking dollar you can out of it, and let's fix the issue in ourselves. I saw there was actually Kitty linked me to Paintball Kitty, for those of you that don't know, linked me to a patent. Apparently Google lists patents now. I don't understand. But this is hold on. Oh, Jesus. Phytocannabinoids in the treatment of cancer. Somebody has actually patented. The original assignee is Otsuka Pharmaceutical Company Limited, GW Pharma Limited. Phytocannabinoids in the treatment of cancer. What essentially this patent argues, or what this patent tries to, and if you look at their claims, a bunch of them have been canceled. A bunch of the claims of the patent have been revoked, saying, "Oh, well, never mind." However, this is the top claim by this application for a patent that was filed on in 2011. Its priority date was 2010. The priority date is an assumption and is not a legal conclusion. Okay, this is the abstract. This invention relates to the use of phytocannabinoids either in an isolated form or in the form of a botanical drug substance. What does that sound like? In the treatment of cancer. Preferably, the cancer to be treated is cancer of the prostate, cancer of the breast, or cancer of the colon. And the claims, number one at the top is a method of treating patient comprising administering a therapeutically effective amount of a cannabis plant extract comprising a phytocannabinoid containing component and non-phytocannabinoid containing component, wherein the phytocannabinoid containing component comprises at least 50% of the cannabis plant extract, and in which the principle is not tetrahydrocannabinol, oh my God, THC, or cannabidiol, and the non-phytocannabinoid blah 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 chemistry shit. Essentially, what this patent is patenting using cannabis to alleviate some of the symptoms of cancer treatment. So the nausea, the pain, things that are synonymous with cancer treatments, chemo or otherwise. One of the big driving forces of medical marijuana is the idea that, look, there's so many people that have this. We've got this great plant. It's relatively cheap, and we can just grow it, and we kind of we take these things and we grind them up and we light them on fire and we inhale the smoke or we vaporize it, or in some way we ingest this plant, and there are these components of this plant that act on receptors in our brain that kind of tell our pain receptors or our pain generators in our brain to kind of just cool off for a bit. And that's what medical marijuana, I believe the idea is behind medical marijuana. Now here's a patent that essentially patents that. The idea of you have this symptom as a result of your cancer treatment. You have this nausea or you have this pain. Here is some marijuana. That symptom, or excuse me, that system is patented. Okay? Using medical marijuana in some arbitrary benchmarks of concentration and whatnot, using marijuana, for all intents and purposes, using marijuana to treat the symptoms of cancer treatment is patented. Patented, meaning somebody's got to get their nut if you want to prescribe marijuana to a cancer patient who's receiving cancer treatment. But no, it's that's not excessive patenting of purely of just medical procedures and medical treatments, overzealous patenting and overzealous patent enforcement of medicinal practices couldn't possibly be the result or result in exorbitant prices for medical care. It couldn't possibly be that. It's got to be the poor people. The poor people who go to the emergency room are the ones that result in higher prices for middle Americans and upper middle class and upper class Americans when they go to get their treatments. It's the poor people. And it's the evil, scum-sucking lawyers are the people that drive up the prices. Not motherfuckers and the United States of America granting, recognizing, and enforcing patents on giving people fucking marijuana. That's a patent. No. It's got to be the poor people. The poor people are the ones who are overtaxing the system. And, well, I'm a 40-year-old professional. There's poor people who can't afford health care, who are still oh my God, they can't afford health care, but by golly, they're still trying to get health care. Well, no fucking shit, man. Because if they don't get health care, they're going to fucking die. Cancer is cancer. If some motherfucker is making $20,000 a year, can't afford health care, well, now he's obliged to have health care, but can't afford health care, is supposed to give up some 30% of his net take-home pay to get health care insurance or health insurance. If that guy gets cancer, you bet your fucking ass he's going to go try to get treatment for it. Or if he's in a car accident and he breaks his arm, you bet your ass he's going to still show up at the emergency room. Perhaps it's okay that you overpay a little bit for your health care so that the less fortunate can still get a little something, can still be relatively healthy, can still not die because of things they can't afford, because of treatments that they simply cannot afford. Has that occurred to anybody? And also, to not make note of, well, we're going to patent giving cancer patients cannabis. We're going to patent that. And the United States government says, well, okay. Hey, isn't cannabis an illegal substance? Isn't that an illicit substance? Well, yeah. So why are we recognizing a patent on it? Well, fuck off. So, yeah, it's the poor people, not granting patents on things like, and I'm sure this isn't the only one, this isn't the only ridiculous thing, granting patents on giving phytocannabinoids. Now, don't let the name fool you. That's THC. Phytocannabinoids. Oh, my God, that's one new wonder drug. No, it's fucking THC found in marijuana. Okay? That's what it is. Phytocannabinoids in the treatment of cancer is a fucking patent. But no, let's just continue to rail on the poor people and the lawyers. Ooh, the lawyers. Ugh. When you get hit in a car accident, or when you find out that the metallurgy facility uphill from you has been dumping trichloroethylene into the aquifer, who are you going to call? No, evil lawyers are bad. They're driving up prices. Never mind the fact that in municipalities and states that have regulated the payouts of medical malpractice suits, regulated the payouts. No matter what this motherfucker did to you, there's an upper limit to what you can get. No matter fucking what. And we've decided it, and you, the lawyers, the judges can no longer decide. The juries can no longer decide, hey, this guy really fucked you up. He was really negligent about it. We should probably punish him severely. And how do we punish him? Instead of, it's not criminal negligence, let's just make him pay a lot of money. Yeah, okay. But no, they say, fuck that. No, we've decided what you can get, what that's worth, what your life, what your limb, what your health is worth. We've decided, fuck you. This is all you can get. Because, these outrageous medical malpractice claims are resulting in all these exorbitant healthcare costs. Well, guess what happened to the healthcare costs in those areas, in those states, and in those municipalities that have limited medical malpractice payouts? Guess what happened to the healthcare costs? Did they go down? Nope. No, they fucking did not. But it's the lawyers and it's the poor people. Maybe it's big pharmaceuticals who'll make more money who will now try to patent giving marijuana to people so that they can profit insanely off of pot and giving it to cancer patients instead of trying to find a cure for cancer, trying to find an actual cure for cancer, or trying to find an actual way to make sure that, hey, there's a lot of people that get fucked up because of allergies. Now, of course, that's just a base immune system issue, which is probably an incredibly complicated thing. But fuck it, let's just make Allegra, man. Why not? Why cure it? Cure it? No, fuck that. Let's treat it. Now, speaking about judges, as we jump into news, this is from KFVS, KFVS12.com. A clerical error, the article is written, clerical error allows man sentenced in prison to walk free. This is from Charleston, Missouri. Quote, a judge decided a man convicted of robbery in 2000 but never sent to prison due to a clerical error will not have to go to prison for the crime. A judge decided that Cornelius Mike Anderson, should be immediately released during a hearing on Monday. The St. Louis County man, Anderson, was convicted of robbery in 2002 and sentenced to 13 years in prison. He was never sent to prison due to a Missouri Department of Corrections clerical error. Somebody done fucked up. When the error was caught last year, he was in prison despite leading a crime-free life in the intervening years when he married, started his own business, and coached youth football. Mississippi County Associate Circuit Judge Terry Lynn Brown, that's a mouthful, say that 3 times fast, said he carefully weighed all the arguments and said keeping Anderson in prison for a full 13 years would serve no purpose. He said the life Anderson has led as a husband, a businessman, and community volunteer shows that he is a good and changed man. You're a free man, Judge Brown told Anderson, to go back to his family. Judge Brown ordered Anderson freed from the Southeast Correctional Center in Charleston, Missouri. He has been there since July 2013. This is the kind of thing that all judges need to be able to do. The idea, now it's great that Mike Anderson of Charleston, Missouri, after spending almost a year in prison for a crime that he was convicted of and supposed to serve in prison, or serve a prison term, he spent about a year in jail after skirting for the last 12 years. Spent a year essentially. Not a clerical error allowed him to go free or allowed him to not be taken into custody and remanded to a penitentiary. And so he's been walking around a free man with this hanging over his head for the last 12 years. And in the meantime has been a businessman. He married, started a family, coaching youth football. Obviously not convicted of another crime in that time span. And a judge was allowed to say, let this man go free. A judge had the power, which I'm surprised to see that a judge still has this kind of power in the days of mandatory minimums and sentencing guidelines. I'm surprised that a judge had the power to actually say, no, you go free. You go free because I have looked at this evidence. I have looked at your case, and I have made this decision. I am not bound, the judge is not bound by these bullshit sentencing guidelines. I do not, despite the fact that you're convicted of this crime, and despite being a criminal in that sense, have not committed another crime, and have in fact led a lifestyle or led a life that is commendable. I can see all this and say no, despite there being a legitimate claim for you for the state of Missouri owning your ass in the figurative sense. The state of Missouri owning your ass for the next 13 years. This isn't a get out of jail free card. I don't want people to get that idea that, oh, well, he's supposed to be 13 years, it's been 12, and he's been a good guy in the meantime, so he was set free. It's a get out of jail free card. No. This is important because this is the kind of things thing that judges can do when they do not have their hand forced by mandatory minimums or mandatory sentencing. Mandatory sentencing in and of itself, regardless of mandatory minimums, mandatory sentencing is a bad idea. Because the whole point, the whole reason that judges are a thing, the whole reason that we have judges and judges are so powerful is because they are supposed to be learned people of the legal system and understand how it works and be able to make ethical, moral calls, not just legal judgments, but moral calls for the betterment of society. That's one of the things they're designed to do. And when you start saying, well, you know, you were arrested on this, whatever, domestic violence charge. And the evidence, you know, the charge isn't, was your husband a piece of shit and so you hit him? The charge is, did you hit your husband? And that's a yes. You got to go away for 2 years. That's it, or whatever the mandatory minimum is. When you mandatory sentence, you are forcing the paragons of the legal system to disregard evidence, to disregard the entire, you disregard the whole. And it's good to see Cornelius Mike Anderson walk free. Not because he's not a criminal. Cornelius Mike Anderson is a criminal. He is. He was convicted of a crime and that he committed, probably. But it's good to see him go free because a judge has the power to take in everything and then make a moral call and then make a moral judgment that turns into, that is codified by the legal system. And it's good to see. So congratulations to Cornelius Mike Anderson. And congratulations to Mississippi County Associate Circuit Judge Terry Lynn Brown. Holy shit. Say that again. Mississippi County Associate Circuit Judge Terry Lynn Brown. Pick a first name. When your title is Mississippi County Associate Circuit Judge, you got to pick a first name. Okay? Like I'm all for, women's lib. I understand. I get it. However, let's be practical here, Terry Lynn Brown. The fuck is not even a women's lib. It's a man. Fucking dude, what are you doing? When your title is Mississippi County Associate Circuit Judge, pick a first name. Pick it. Billy Bob? I don't care. Pick one. People are going to have to say that. But instead of saying Mississippi County Associate Circuit Judge Terry Brown, Mississippi County Associate Circuit Judge Terry Lynn Brown. Pick a goddamn name. That goes for everybody. Pick a last name, too. I don't want to hear your hyphenation. Get your hyphenated bullshit out of here. Okay? Because no. Just no. Pick a last name. If you want to keep your last name, ladies, or guys, and you want to your life or your wife is the last of the Mohicans, let's say, and you want to preserve that because you really love your wife and those kinds of things are important to you, okay, then your last name is fucking Mohicans now. You're not Smith-Mohicans. You're not Smith Mohicans. You're not Mohicans O'Keefe. You're fucking Mohicans, okay? Pick a last name. Save a lot of ink. We'll save a lot of paper. Save a lot of everything. Save a lot of time of people fumbling and bumbling. Those are O'Keefe Mohicans, Mohicans O'Keefe. I don't even know. What do they like? What do they want to be called? Fuck it. Pick a last name. That's what you got to do. Expressing yourself, I get it. I get expressing yourself, and I want to express all these things about me. I understand that. Be practical to the people around you who have to pronounce that fucking name or pronounce that title. Mississippi County Associate Circuit Judge Terry Lynn Brown. Have a spine. Pick a last name. Like Mozilla. Mozilla, speaking of growing a spine, that's a segue. That's what we call a segue in the biz, kids.
I don't give a fuck what you think, bitch.
In I don't give a fuck what you think news, Mozilla tells the FCC to grow a spine and reclassify ISPs as common carriers. This is from BGR.com. I'll read you some of the article here. Mozilla might not be as big as Google or Netflix in most consumers' minds, but as the maker of the popular Firefox browser, that was big in the day before Google Chrome, kids. It does have some clout. That's why it's noteworthy that Mozilla on Monday recommended that the Federal Communications Commission use the, quote, nuclear option against internet service providers by reclassifying them as common carriers under Title II of the Communications Act. Title II regulations were designed to regulate old telephone networks as part of the 1934 Communications Act, which was most recently overhauled to include updated rules in 1996. Former FCC Chairman Julius Genachowski, I don't know, had originally planned to reclassify ISPs under Title II back in 2010, but he backed down under pressure and implemented Type 2 type restrictions on landline ISPs without officially reclassifying them. That's important. This patchwork regulatory approach got shot down earlier this year when the United States Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia overturned the FCC's 2010 order and left ISPs to do whatever they want. That's important because a lot of people don't know why it's a big deal for ISPs, internet service providers in America, to be classified as common carriers. And a lot of people don't know why that, quote, net neutrality was, quote, attacked earlier this year. The idea of net neutrality was originally posed by the FCC as a substitute for reclassifying ISPs. The United States District Court of Appeals, the United States Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia did not overturn the FCC's classification of the ISPs. What it did was overturn an order by the FCC or regulations imposed by the FCC that did not fit with their administrative power. As internet breaking as it could be for net neutrality to go away, as internet breaking as it could be for ISPs to take bids to develop fast lanes on the information superhighway, there's a fucking term that went away really quick. As bad as that would be in terms of the legal sense of what the FCC is designed to do and has the authority to do, not invoking the Communications Act made it a purely administrative order and able to be overturned or not as ironclad, let's say, as saying, hey, look, we're the FCC and we are going to invoke the Communications Act to regulate you, ISPs. This isn't just us ordering you to do something. This is us interpreting a federal law and saying this is what you have to do as a result. So as internet breaking as all that would be, and is, it's not necessarily that the U.S. Court of Appeals is in bed with ISPs. Because regardless of internet breaking, regardless of breaking the internet and developing these fast lanes, the U.S. Court of Appeals doesn't give a fuck about that. What they give a fuck about is telling the FCC, look, you have to act within your authority. And this order, while as necessary as it may be, is not within your authority. It would be in your authority, essentially, if you were to invoke the Communications Act to reclassify ISPs as common carriers. Say it this way. Everybody's freaking out about Verizon winning and net neutrality is dead because of this overturning, and oh my God. Overturning the FCC's order was not a judgment call by the Court of Appeals. It was simply, look, this is just not in your purview this court doesn't think this is in your purview as you have drafted this order. Now, if you're to reclassify, if the FCC is to grow some balls or a spine and say, look, ISPs, all right, fine, we're not even going to try to treat you with kid gloves and draft a special order. We're invoking the Communications Act, and you are now common carriers. That would be ironclad. ISPs would fight it like hell. It'd be in court for decades. But the FCC is able to say, at a moment's notice, we are invoking the Communications Act, and you are now common carriers, ISPs. And that's a big deal because once you're classified as a common carrier, you are basically the people's bitch, right? The Rock was the people's champ. Common carriers are the people's bitch. You have to provide all these things. Not if you feel like it, not if your network allows for it, not at your leisure. You have to do this, that, and the other thing. Whatever they are, you have to do that. You are the people's bitch. You have created this thing, and it is yours. However, this is the United States of America, and the United States of America is a government by the people, for the people. You are now the people's bitch. So it's good to see Mozilla joining the choir in telling the FCC to grow a pair. And I don't know if they will. Will they? I don't know. That's Washington insider shit. I don't know. But it's good to see, obviously, tech companies whose bread and butter is not creating network infrastructure, but riding on that network infrastructure for the betterment of society as a whole. It's good to see them stand up and give the giant middle finger to the FCC. Hopefully, the FCC, as Mozilla told them to, hopefully the FCC grows a spine. And once that happens, hopefully, or probably, we'd see a sweeping change in internet service in America for the better. And that would be great. Don't let Comcast and Verizon tell you, oh, common carriers would be bad because we'd be disincentivized to do upper tier. Those will all go away. Bullshit, they will. So good on you, Mozilla. Good on you telling the FCC, I don't give a fuck what you think. Reclassify them as common carriers under the Communications Act and grow a fucking pair of balls. It's good to see. We're going to wrap up the Lefty show there for today, Cinco de Mayo. Hopefully it gets up. Hopefully this uploads by Cinco de Mayo. That would still be great. It would suck if it was Seis de Mayo, and I'm talking about Cinco de Mayo. Thank you again to Carbon FX for the brand new graphics. I hope you guys all enjoy the new little stuff to look at. It's visually pleasing to me. And the Lefty Show coming to iTunes hopefully soon. If you want to help out the cause, go to imraising.com/643productions and can help get this podcast on iTunes. Keep it on iTunes. Keep the lights on. Keep the studio growing. Keep the quality improving. All those great things are at your fingertips if you so choose. imraising.com/643productions. Anyway, guys, that's my time. I got to get out of here. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I'm out. Peace.